The temples in Assam have always been a source of pride for the people of the state. Their beauty, grandeur and exquisite craftsmanship are just some of their many qualities that make them stand out among other similar monuments in India. The history of these magnificent structures dates back to about 600 AD when a man named Madhvendra Puri visited this part of India. He was looking for somewhere he could spend some time meditating in peace but didn't expect to find such a wonderful place so easily. After spending some time there himself, he decided it would be nice if others were able to enjoy it too, so he shared its location with his friends back home, who then spread the word across their respective countries. And so, over time, more and more people began making pilgrimages here to experience its tranquil atmosphere for themselves. Welcome to our channel Around the World with Dua Mumtaz. Today we are going to share a history of Kamakhya Temple at Nilachal Hills in Guwahati, Assam. If you like our informative video, please click the like button and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon so you will receive timely notification whenever we uploaded new videos. Let's get started. Kamakhya Temple is one of the oldest and most revered centers of Tantric practices. The temple is the center of the Kulachara Tantra Marga and the site of the Ambubachi Mela, an annual festival that celebrates the menstruation of the goddess. Structurally, the temple is dated to the 8th-9th century with many subsequent rebuilding, and the final hybrid architecture defines a local style called Nilachal. It is also one of the oldest of the 51 pithas in the Shakta tradition. An obscure place of worship for much of history, it became an important pilgrimage destination, especially for those from Bengal, in the 19th century during colonial rule. Originally an autochthonous place of worship of a local goddess where the primary worship of the aniconic yoni set in natural stone continues till today, the Kamakya Temple became identified with the state power when the Mleccha dynasty of Kamarupa patronized it first, followed by the pithas, the Koch, and the Ahoms. The Kalika Purana, written during the Pala rule, connected Naraka, the legitimizing progenitor of the Kamarupa kings, with the goddess Kamakhya representing the region and the Kamarupa kingdom. It has been suggested that historically the worship progressed in three phases: Yoni under the Mlecchas, Yogini under the Pithas, and the Mahavidyas under the Kochs. The main temple is surrounded in a complex of individual temples dedicated to the 10 Mahavidyas of Shaktism, namely, Kali, Tara, Tripura Sundari, Bhuvaneshwari, Bhairavi, Chinnamasta, Dhumavati, Bagalamukhi, Matangi and Kamalatmika. Among these, Tripura Sundari, Matangi and Kamala reside inside the main temple, whereas the other 7 reside in individual temples. Temples for individual Mahavidyas together as a group, as found in the complex, is rare and uncommon. The current structural temple and the rock-cut sculptures strewn in the vicinity indicate that the temple has been built and renovated many times in the period 8th, 9th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th centuries and even later. The temple consists of 3 additional chambers. The first to the west is the Kalantar, a square chamber of type Achala, similar to the 1659 Radha Vinod temple of Bishnupur. The entrance to the temple is generally via its northern door, that is of a home-type dochala. It houses a small movable idol of the goddess, a later addition, which explains the name. The walls of this chamber contain sculpted images of Narnarayan, related inscriptions and other gods. It leads into the Garbhagriha via descending steps. Pancharatna to the west of Kalantar is large and rectangular with a flat roof and 5 smaller shikharas of the same style as the main shikhara. The middle shikhara is slightly bigger than the other 4 in typical Pancharatna style. The Natamandira extends to the west of the Pancharatna with an apsidal end and ridged roof of the Ranghar type Ahom style. Its inside walls bear inscriptions from Rajeshwar Singha 1759 and Gaurinath Singha 1782, which indicate the period this structure was built. The outer wall has stone sculptures from an earlier period embedded in high relief. Historians have suggested that the Kamakhya Temple is an ancient sacrificial site for an Austroasiatic tribal goddess of the Khasi and Garo peoples, supported by the folklores of these very peoples. The traditional accounts from Kalika Purana, 10th century, and the Yogini Tantra to record that the goddess Kamakhya is of Kirata origin and that the worship of Kamakhya predates the establishment of Kamarupa, 4th century. The earliest historical dynasty of Kamarupa, the Wamans 350 to 650, as well as Shanzang, a 7th century Chinese traveler, ignored the Kamakhya, and it is assumed that the worship at least till that period was Kirata based beyond the Brahminical ambit. The first epigraphic notice of Kamakhya is found in the 9th century Tezpur plates of Vanamalavarmadeva of the Mleccha dynasty. Since the archaeological evidence too points to a massive 8th-9th century temple, it can be safely assumed that the earliest temple was constructed during the Mleccha dynasty. From the moldings of the plinth and the bandhana, the original temple was clearly of Nagara type, possibly of the Malava style. The later Palas of Kamarupa kings, from Indrapala to Dharmapala, were followers of the Tantric tenet, and about that period Kamakhya had become an important seat of Tantricism. The Kalika Purana, 10th century, was composed, and Kamakhya soon became a renowned center of Tantric sacrifices, mysticism and sorcery. Mystic Buddhism, known as Vajrayan and popularly called the Sahajya cult, too rose in prominence Kamarupa in the 10th century. It is found from Tibetan records that some of the eminent Buddhist professors in Tibet, of the 10th and the 11th centuries, hailed from Kamarupa. There is a tradition that the temple was destroyed by Kalapaha, a general of Suleiman Karrani, 1566 to 1572. Since the date of reconstruction 1565 precedes the possible date of destruction, and since Kalapaha is not known to have ventured so far to the east, it is now believed that the temple was destroyed not by Kalapaha but during Hussein Shah's invasion of the Kamata kingdom 1498. Ruins of the temple was said to have been discovered by Vishwasingha 1515 to 1540, the founder of the Koch dynasty, who revived worship at the site, but it was during the reign of his son, Nara Narayan 1540 to 1587 that the temple reconstruction was completed in 1565. According to historical records and epigraphic evidence, the main temple was built under the supervision of Chilarai. The reconstruction used material from the original temples that was lying scattered about, some of which still exists today. After two failed attempts at restoring the stone Shikhara, Meghamukdam, a Koch artisan, decided to take recourse to brick masonry and created the current dome. Made by craftsmen and architects more familiar with Islamic architecture of Bengal, the dome became bulbous and hemispherical, which was ringed by minaret-inspired Anga Shikharas. Meghamukdam's innovation, a hemispherical shikhara over a ratha base, became its own style, called Nilachal type, and became popular with the Ahoms. Banerjee, 1925, records that the Koch structure was further built over by the rulers of the Ahom kingdom. With remnants of the earlier Koch temple carefully preserved, by the end of 1658, the Ahoms under King Jayadhvaj Singha had conquered the Kamarupa, and after the Battle of Atakhuli, 1681, the Ahoms had uninterrupted control over the temple. The kings, who were supporters of Shivite or Shakta, continued to support the temple by rebuilding and renovating it. Rudra Singha 1696–1714 invited Krishnaram Bhattacharya, a famous mahant of the Shakta sect who lived in Malipota, near Santipa in Nadia district, promising him the care of the Kamakhya temple to him, but it was his successor and son Siba Singha 1714–1744, on becoming the king, who fulfilled the promise. The mahant and his successors came to be known as Parbatiya Gosains, as they resided on top of the Nilachal hill. Many Kamakhya priests and modern Shaktas of Assam are either disciples or descendants of the Parbatiya Gosains, or of the Nati and Na Gosains. The Kalika Purana, an ancient work in Sanskrit, describes Kamakhya as the yielder of all desires, the young bride of Shiva, and the giver of salvation. Shakti is known as Kamakhya. Tantra is basic to worship, in the precincts of this ancient temple of Mother Goddess Kamakhya. The worship of all female deity in Assam symbolizes the fusion of faiths and practices, of Aryan and non-Aryan elements in Assam. The different names associated with the goddess are names of local Aryan and non-Aryan goddesses. The Yogini Tantra mentions that the religion of the Yogini Pitta is of Kirata origin. According to Banikanta Kakati, there existed a tradition among the priests established by Narnarayan that the Garos, a matrilineal people, offered worship at the earlier Kamakhya site by sacrificing pigs. The tradition of sacrifices continue today, with devotees coming every morning with animals and birds to offer to the goddess. goddess is worshipped according to both the Vamachara left-hand path as well as the Dakshinachara right-hand path modes of worship. Offerings to the goddess are usually flowers, but might include animal sacrifices. In general, female animals are exempt from sacrifice, a rule that is relaxed during mass sacrifices according to the Kalika Purana. Kamakhya Temple denotes the spot where Sati used to retire in secret to satisfy her amour with Shiva, and it was also the place where her yoni, genitals, womb, fell after Shiva Tandav, dance of destruction with the corpse of Sati. It mentions Kamakhya as one of 4 primary Shakti pithas, the others being the Vimala temple within the Jagannath temple complex in Puri, Orissa, Tara Tarini, Sthana Kanda, breasts, near Brahmapur, Orissa, and Dakhina Kalika in Kalighat, Kolkata, in the state of West Bengal, originated from the limbs of the corpse of Mata Sati. This is not corroborated in the Devi Bhagavata, which lists 108 places associated with Sati's body, though Kamakhya finds a mention in a supplementary list. The Yogini Tantra, a latter work, ignores the origin of Kamakhya given in Kalika Purana and associates Kamakhya with the goddess Kali and emphasizes the creative symbolism of the yoni. Due to a legendary curse by the goddess, members of the Koch Bihar royal family do not visit the temple and avert their gaze when passing by. Being the center for Tantra worship, this temple attracts thousands of Tantra devotees in an annual festival known as the Ambubachi Mela. Another annual celebration is the Manasha Puja. Durga Puja is also celebrated annually at Kamakhya during Navratri in the autumn. This 5-day festival attracts several thousand visitors. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. We will see on our next video and will explore Lankeshwar temple on top of a hillock in the western part of the Guwahati city near Guwahati University campus.